All right. What is going on, big dogs? I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Today's video, we are going to talk about mmorpg specialization. And not just mmorpg specialization, we're going to dive into a narrower scope and talk about Ashes of Creation's Alpha 2 releasing their beginner guild specializations today, January 30th, as of the recording of this video. This is something I've been excited about for a while. I've been really excited about guild specializations because as an MMORPG player at heart, I love specializations in MMORPGs. I have an outnumbered PvP background. I love the build diversity that exists in MMORPG PvPs. I love pitting myself up against large groups of players. And the fact that in this game, in this alpha, we get to now specialize our specific guild on top of it. It's just another layer that I am very excited about. And so I wanted to do a deep dive into it and talk about how it's kind of beneficial for all parties involved. Like, we're all different, and so different specializations is better for all of us. I wanted to talk about that, and I also wanted to talk about a potential route that Intrepid could go with these specializations. I don't think that they're going to be a thing. They haven't talked about this, but it's an idea I've been running around in my head, and if they haven't thought about it, I'd be very surprised. But regardless, we'll talk about that at the end of the video. So let's just dive into specializations. Now, as Intrepid has announced it in 3 different videos, the AMA from 8 or 9 months ago with Ashes of Creation content creators, the interview with Pirate Software from a few weeks ago, and the Nice Gaming interview from last week, guild specializations will be coming online. Now, what this means is you level up your guild progression, through different commodities. Steven announced on Nice's video. I'll just provide the answer here for you guys, so I don't have to regurgitate what he said. Here you go.
Fantastic.
And by the way, I just got confirmation that we will be implementing we're going to be bringing up our guild progression system that will have some very early guild leveling through guild-specific commodity trading that can then invest points into passive abilities like guild membership increase and specific combat buff bonuses. So that'll be landing on the 30th update.
So basically, through some sort of commodity trading, we get to level up our guild. As we level up our guild, we can choose to assign power to players, or we can push our guild horizontally. Currently, Ashes of Creation's population for each guild is 50 people. And there are some guilds that are much larger than the 50-player guild size. You have some guilds with 300, 400 people. You have Pirate Software's guild, which, when I was playing on Lineth in Phase 1, I'm pretty sure I saw Pirates 46, which means they have over 2,000 players that were playing in Phase 1. And so you have the very, very large guilds that exist in Ashes of Creation. And one of the big bottlenecks that they have is communication with each other in-game. Obviously, you can get in the same Discord, you can be in the same Discord chat, you can do these sorts of things, but it's another step, right? And one of the things that Intrepid wants to eventually do is eliminate the need for that step. And guild progression is a much-needed removal of a bottleneck for a lot of these large guilds. So as you level up your guild, you can expand your guild to add more players. And so this is going to be a big deal for large guilds. I can tell you this firsthand. Before we got into Phase 1, there was a lot of discussion about fighting Pirate Software's guild. He's brought this up as well. Basically, they are a lot of people, but they're going to be slower to respond. This is something I told my guild beforehand as well. It's going to be tough for them sometimes to counteract us due to their guild being so separated, being so fragmented. Imagine you're in Pirates 37 and Pirates 30 gets attacked. Well, they have to go and they have to ping the main Discord. There's 2,000 people on there. There's comments going all the time. You're not going to be able to see the response right away. And you're not in guild, so you're not seeing guild comments saying hey, this guild's getting attacked. It's going to be slower to respond due to that extra pain point of this not existing in game. Now, as you expand your guild horizontally with guild specializations, you can add more people. You can add 100 people. You can have 200 people. And so instead of having the need for Pirates 1 through 50 or 1 through 46, if you can expand to 200 people, all of a sudden you only need 10 guilds to hold the 10,000 or the 2,000 players that they have. And now at any point in time, instead of having 50 people, maybe 10 to 15 online per guild, you have now 4x that. You now have 60 people online per guild to respond at any point in time. And so these larger guilds get to utilize their numbers. They get to actually have a response to have when they're getting attacked, which I think is a big deal. It's something I've seen other large guilds talk about. It's something, that Pirate Software talked about in his interview. It's a big pain point for them right now because managing multiple guilds is a huge pain in the ass. And so it's a specialization that a lot of them are looking forward to. Another form of specialization that I'm looking forward to is our guild, Mine and Nice Gaming's guild Syndicate. We're under 50 players by design. We are under 50 players because we want to play in outnumbered PvP. We want to have outnumbered fights. We want to engage in these, get better, improve, and eventually win these larger number fights. We want to be able to punch way above our weight class, essentially. And what Ashes of Creation is doing for a guild like ours is we can build into power specializations, whether it's damage mitigation, or an example Steven brought up previously was like dodging an attack every 30 seconds, like assigning combat passives to the guild. So we don't need to expand our guild size to 200, 250 members if we're keeping 50. We can expand our power vertically by giving ourselves mitigation or added damage or crit modifiers. I'm guessing that there will eventually be passives coming online for traders, right? Like maybe you have reduced costs on trading fees. Maybe you have, if you're a crafting guild, maybe you have reduced material needs for making different high item stuff. So there's all these different types of passes that they can do. And it is a great idea, in my opinion, because we're all different guilds. Like, just speaking on Vyra, Polar is completely different from Envious, which is completely different from Axiom, which is completely different from Syndicate, which is completely different from Dynasty, which is completely different from, Dopamine. Like, we're all different guilds that exist on Vyra, and we have different specializations. And so I think it's really cool that we get to identify what our guild strengths are, what we think they are, and build into them. And so I think this is great. I think it's beneficial for large guilds to have that response time, to be able to respond with numbers in the way that, like, they made a big guild for a reason. They want to function like a big guild, so now they have the powers to do so. Smaller guilds will have the power of passives to help counteract that. Now, this is a huge change for me in the past from other MMORPGs I've played. I haven't seen guild passives in the past. Like the best case scenario I've ever seen for outnumbered PvP is if the game developers go, hey, here's our game. We're not doing anything to benefit large groups. This is just what the large group combat system is. Away you go. That's been the best case for me, right? And in that scenario, larger groups always have more damage. They always have more healing. They always have more players. It always takes you more resources to kill everybody because there's so many of them, right? And that's what I sign up for. That's what I'm excited about. The worst case scenario is when they introduce things like AoE caps, where there could be 20 to 30 people in an area and you hit an AoE and only 6 people are fully impacted. That's the negative aspect of it. And the rest take a lot less damage, which literally is a combat design system promoting large groups to run tightly together because they all can't be wiped. They all can't be taken out because AoE caps are preventing that from happening. And it's promoting a playstyle that literally helps create a Zerg game. Intrepid's doing the opposite of that, right? Like, they're saying, hey, if you want to be in a large group, you can. You're going to have the value of being responsive. You're going to have the value of being a large group. But you're sacrificing these passives that other groups that don't want to be as large are doing. Like these other groups, they might be 5, 10, 15% stronger, depending on levels and everything. This is what you're sacrificing if you want to continue to do this. So do you want the response time, or do you want the passives? And so overall, I've heard different people talk about wanting different things. We'll have to see what's best in slot for everybody, but I think it's going to be different. I think it's going to be different depending on your guild, depending on what you're trying to do, and depending on the amount of people that you have, which I think is a good thing. Now, on to the idea that I mentioned earlier. Well, you guys have all been here. You've been here for the last week. I've done a few videos talking about it, but there's a big issue with war declarations happening in the beginning of phase 2. I'm not going to go into the details of it, but long story short, there were some guilds that were spamming war declarations for the rewards. One of the cool things that Intrepid has done is they've assigned value to just about everything. And one of the issues with the war declarations was at that point in time, it had no cooldown, meaning that all these guilds could declare war on any guild at a time, at many guilds at the same time even, and reap the rewards of just having better gear, having higher level people at that point, and just taking advantage of, literally just having an early on advantage of people being online more. And so they were double dipping in that regard and winning all these different wars because of the situation, which had to be, adjusted. Now, they got rid of the rewards, and there's supposed to be a 6-hour cooldown on war declaration to where you can't spam wars like that. But still, people will be, when the rewards come online, they're valuable enough to where people will be sending out wars. And some of those wars, what's to stop somebody from declaring war on a mom and pop guild that are online on the weekends? They have a total of 5 people. It's a family that plays together. Who's to stop a big guild from declaring war on 5 people that they know that they can crush, every 6 hours? Declare war on them. Oh yeah, this is free PvP. We're going to get our mats. We're going to get our gold. Sorry guys, but this is just the way it is. There's a big difference between a 5-person guild and a 500-person guild, right? And so because of that, there should be a skew in the amount of rewards you get based off of what guild you're fighting. Much like the corruption system currently exists for Ashes, where if you attack somebody and kill somebody much lower level than you, you incur a lot more corruption than you would get if you attack somebody close to your level. So what they could do is rewards could be based off of the overall guild level. So I don't know how long or how quickly it's going to take to level a guild, but let's say your guild levels up to like level 10. Well, if you declare war on like a level 1, your guild rewards should be minimal or none at all. That way you're stopping people that are playing all the time from being able to pick on like mom and pop that are on the weekends, just randomly, picking flowers because they want to go experience the world. Yes, you could still declare war against them, but you shouldn't be getting the same rewards for killing mom and pop as you would get for fighting, a guild like Axiom or a guild like Rives Guild, much larger guilds that are going to be very active. Not saying we're attacking, I'm just providing examples, guys, okay? Just take it easy. If you do that, if you provide the structure for rewards via guild levels, then that means that, if Syndicate, for instance, like let's say we're not as big and we only get up to like level 5 or level 6, if we take on a level 10 guild and we win, we should get even more rewards, and so you can skew the rewards based off of guild level and guild structure. And does it make it perfect? No. Like there'll never be a perfect example. People will find ways to get around systems like this all the time. But I think this is another step in the right direction for proper rewards. I think this is a way they could go about doing it so that war declarations just don't happen where you don't have, large 1,000 person guilds just attacking a small guild or a shadow guild of alt accounts just because they know they can get the same rewards doing that than they could get fighting a real guild. So I think that will be a thing that they could do. I'm not saying that they will. I'm guessing that they probably already thought about this, but regardless, it's stuff like this that they can do with this system that have me very excited overall about guild specialization in general. So I'm going to end this video here. Obviously, we are all different players. We're all in different guilds. Let me know what you think. Let me know what kind of passives you're excited about. We all play the game for a different reason, and some of the things that people want are going to be different from our own, regardless of whatever we think is most optimal. So I'm going to end this video here. I hope to catch you guys in the comment section. Take care. Have a good one.